So welcome back to another senior expedition video.
So it's currently show season at the moment, and we purchased our van 2 years ago from the Sydney show. So we thought that it was a good time to help other people looking to buy a van, to help sort of in that buying, purchasing phase, and things we wish we had known before we purchased our van.
Yeah, so we're making this video to help you guys because at the time when we bought our van, I don't think there was many videos on what to look for, what not to look for.
And this is our very first van as well.
And this is our version. Like, I'm sure now there'll probably be other versions out there, but hopefully this video educates you before making that big decision, because it is a big financial decision. I'll walk right in. Alright, so I've got a couple points myself.
The exterior?
Yeah, so as you're aware, we've got the Off Grid van, and we did a trooper spec build regarding an extra water tank and a bigger battery system and more solar panels. But at the time, we had the option to go the galvanized chassis, but we opted not to, and we kind of regret that decision. Now we can see a lot of stone chips occurring, and then a couple of rust spots here and there. The galvanized chassis is a little bit heavier, I think maybe 10 to 12 kilos.
That was the main reason.
That was the main reason why we didn't go with it, but I think if we did it again, we would opt for that option. Next issue is our toolbox set up at the front. You're probably already aware, again, a couple of times we've hit the stone guard at the front when the ute's on the full lock, and our ball weight is a bit on the heavy side. So either maybe removing that front toolbox or bringing that stone guard a bit forward just to reduce your ball weight and minimise any damage there. So we're still looking at ideas of how we can change that front setup. But that was the thing that we weren't aware of at the beginning. Like, we didn't have the car at the time and just a turn-in circle, so it's all a learning curve.
Yeah, first van we towed as well.
Yeah. What else do we have here? So another option regarding the outdoor kitchen, there's the Dometic kitchen. There's probably a few other brands on the market. We wanted to go to Dometic, but again, trying to keep costs down and weight down. We didn't opt for that at the beginning, but we do love our cooking. We do love outdoor cooking, and a few camps now we wish we opted for the outdoor kitchen. Like, it's not too late now. We could add on to it now, but probably be a bigger expense installing the water taps, and there is a gas point already there. But if you order the Dometic kitchen from the start, I think they plumb your water in as well, so you got that there for the sink. But it's not a big issue, but that can all be added later. And then another issue we found, especially the other night we went camping, the light above the door. So we've got 3 lights on that one switch, and there's a right spank bang in the middle of the doorway. So if you got the amber light on, the white light on, it still attracts bugs, mozzies, all those
critters
with wings. And when you open that door, it acts as like a vacuum and just sucks all the bugs inside, and then you got all the bugs in the van.
And then if you've got lights on in the van,
and
they
just
just
attract
to
that.
those in the van.
So I've seen a few people now, you can move that light to the left or the right, and probably reduces the amount of bugs. So that's probably another thing we could look in as well, getting that wire to another switch maybe. So we've got the option to turn that one off. And then also probably add in another battery and another water tank. Again, we didn't think we needed this, one because of the weights. We've been alright with power, but we haven't run the aircon
in the dead of summer, and there's only 2 of us at the moment as well.
So it's a bit hard to judge. Like, we've never been below 60% on the battery. We haven't been in the one spot for more than 2-3 days. It's been raining and overcast, so it's a bit hard for us to judge.
But we've used the microwave, we've used the washing machine, we've used the kettle.
We've got 800 watts of solar, so that seems to charge it up pretty well. But if you are in the outback or up north and you have that aircon running, you probably want a bit more juice.
Power, yeah.
And then as far as the water tanks, we probably get 3 days out of the water. So we've got the 295 litres and a 50 litre designated drinking water. We probably would have opted for another 95, yeah, because we only get 3 days. But we're still looking at that water saving advice to install in the van, so we'll probably do another video on that one.
Yeah.
A video install for that one.
Basically, when you put the hot water on, it takes a while to heat up, so
yeah.
you've got about that little bit of a loss of water.
You're
while
losing a
it's
few
heating up.
litres each time, so there's 2 of us at the moment, so if you've got kids as well, I'm sure you've probably got little tips and tricks of saving water on the road, but just convenience. But that's about it from my end. We'll hand over to Vic. She's got a couple on her list as well.
So I think first and foremost is being happy with your layout. I believe Lotus in the past has done custom layouts, but now due to demand, it's a little bit trickier. So I'd say number one is being happy with the layout. Initially, we actually wanted the kitchen on this side facing the door. So if we're out wanting to watch the dogs, or when we have kids later down the track and want to keep an eye on them while they were playing, while we're cooking inside, we could see all that. But it actually hasn't been an issue. Generally, we eat outside, so we can see the dogs anyway, or we cook outside on the little kitchen setup out there that Nick made. And again, while we're sitting eating here,
Even
very
like
easy
this, you
to
can look outside and
easy.
if
So
you've
I
got
think
friends outside, you
so
still
in that sense, I think it's actually been easier having the kitchen on the current side that it is on. Even I use this bench either to prep food, pass food outside if we're cooking outside. So no issues from me, but I just make sure that you're absolutely happy with the layout.
Because remember, we did want to change it, and then we had a bit of an issue. It was a bit late because the minute you put your deposit down, they send it off to the factory and start building your chassis, so you can't change it. And we didn't know that at the time, but it's a big deal because you got to work out your weights and engineering. So
the other probably suggestion I'd have, I knew from just past experience that for me, I wanted a centered bed so that there was space on both sides, so it made making the bed easier, getting out of the bed easier, that sort of thing. But if you're not familiar with like is it an east to west facing bed?
Yeah, I think so.
East to west facing bed. Maybe to even try them out first to see if you actually like them before buying that. You might get a bigger bathroom in return. But if you're not a fan of hopping out of the same side, especially with a couple, maybe just to try that out as well. Next thing I'd probably suggest is for color selection. So Lotus do have the Build Your Caravan tool. So when we purchased our caravan, you could basically use the tool to choose the colors of the exterior, and you'd get shots of that, but they didn't have anything for the inside. They now have developed the tool so that you can choose colors of the inside, but again, I'd recommend if you can go to other shows, or if you can even go to the dealer that you've purchased, walk through a few caravans, see the colors actually in person. We actually went to our dealership to begin with, but the colors that we were interested in, they didn't have any display stock of that. So a couple of weekends later, we went to the Hunter Valley Caravan Show, where they had a wider range of display models, so we could actually visualize the colors, and we probably went back and forth between 5 or 6 caravans.
To, Melbourne, was it Freestyle RV?
Yeah,
they had a lot on display there. So we even travelled interstate to look at different colours and vans, because it is a big decision.
And then with your cabinetry as well, you've got your gloss and your matte finish. We opted for the matte finish for us, and the point I would probably make is I'm pretty happy with that decision. I feel like in terms of cleaning and not showing smudges, the colours we chose were great for that. But if you look at the fridge and the microwave, which do have a bit of a gloss finish, and again, we couldn't choose what microwave and fridge we had unless we want to replace them now, but because they're a bit more of a gloss finish, they do show up smudges quite well. And then that would probably also bring me to the point of the cabinetry. I do love my cooking, or we both love our cooking, as Nick mentioned, and we have these really heavy duty stone cookware saucepans and pots, and then with the corrugation of the road, them bouncing a little bit back and forward, even though I've put cardboard in between them and non-slip mats in some cupboards, they have left some scuff marks in the cupboards, so potentially potentially maybe going for something that's not as heavy duty as them, so that you don't scuff up your cupboards, or maybe having like a case or protection for them so you don't mark them up as well. Next point I'd probably touch on is our fans. We've got one fan in the off-grid. I believe some models come with additional fans. If we were to build again, I probably would have got maybe another 2 or 3 fans, so 3 to 4 fans in total. It's good just for a bit of extra airflow, and then of course it's probably not going to use as much power as the air conditioning. Yeah. And then I'd probably, again, not a deal breaker for me, but in our van we've got a half mirror just above the vanity. I have seen in some vans that they actually put a mirror on the back of the door. I think if you like a full length mirror, it's a great option and probably makes the space feel a bit bigger as well. But then again, I guess a little bit extra cleaning in terms of smudges and prints and that sort of thing. But for me, not a deal breaker, but if you like your full length mirror, that might be something to consider as well. And then the last point is probably around the mattress. At the time, we didn't really think much of it, come with mattresses, that sort of thing. But after probably the first weekend we took it away, we were like, we definitely need a new mattress. Yeah. You can upgrade the mattress through Lotus, but we thought, you know, we like our Sealy mattress, why not see if it actually fits, and we had a spare one at the time. We've currently got a double mattress on there. It's got a bit extra space on the sides, which I quite like for making the bed and tucking it in. Nick probably disagrees, he probably wants queen, but I think a standard bed, again, do your measurements, but if you've got a particular brand that you use at home that you like, take the measurements, and if you can fit that quality mattress in your van,
why not?
Then why not? Better to have a good night's sleep, and they say that you spend, you know, a lot of time sleeping, so make it a comfortable one and look after your back. And then the only other thing, maybe the TV as well. So again, we just opted for the standard 24-inch TV. I guess it could be a little bit bigger, but again, that's something that you could probably replace later down the track. Again, not a deal breaker for me, but I think that covers it.
There's another thing I want to add. Airbag suspension. I know I've said it before, but if you're tossing up, if you don't want to spend the extra money, spend it, because honestly you won't go back. Like, we see people at where we go and they're spending half hour trying to level their van, and we just self-level and it's done in a couple of minutes.
Less than 5 minutes, and you're done and a
the
good
ride
night's
is
sleep.
a lot more comfortable, I think, in my opinion. But if you are, because I know I was at the time umming about, do we need the airbag suspension, but
it saves so much time and energy.
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't worry about where you pull up.
Even
or
airing
park.
up as well. It's got the inbuilt air tank in there, so it makes it a lot easier. But I think they're like must-haves. Like,
you can't go without.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it. I think
that's a wrap.
But if there's anything that you might add, chuck it down in the comments. Because you know, we're all here to help each other, and if you can help someone else by putting in a comment, go ahead and do so. And another thing, I've noticed there's a few of you guys watching, but not everyone is kind enough to leave that subscribe button. So help us out, help us keep this show running, and hit that subscribe button. We'll muchly appreciate it.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.